We want to bring in tech entrepreneur and academic Vivek Wadhwa to talk more about who Elon Musk is and what inspired him. Vivek, welcome. And I know you've known Elon Musk for about 15 years now. How would you describe him? What about him have you observed that the public doesn't know?
Natasha, imagine if you knew Leonardo da Vinci
Wow.
or Beethoven, Mozart, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs. All right, these are people, they're legends of their times. We've read about them. We couldn't even imagine knowing or meeting them. Well, that's Elon Musk. Now, if they had Twitter back in those days, we would have seen all of their faults. We would have seen their good side, their bad side, their dark side, their weirdness. That's how geniuses are. That's what Elon Musk is. That he's absolutely amazing, one of the most brilliant people of recent times. In fact, I think he's the greatest innovator in modern history. I mean, in the last 50 years, perhaps, maybe 100 years. That's Elon Musk. He's good and bad at the same time, brilliant and dumb at the same time. But he's Elon Musk and he's doing amazing things for humanity.
Wow. And you say that you were actually having drinks with him. This struck me back in 2012 when he talked about plans to retire to Mars. And you say you honestly thought he'd had too much to drink when you first heard about this. Tell me about that conversation. When did you realize he was dead serious?
We were talking about Star Trek, because in those days, the Roadster was the car. This is 2011-ish. The Roadster was his car. He was dreaming about, he was talking about the Tesla car, what was to be. And then I was talking about Star Trek and science fiction. And I said, well, what do you think about the Starship Enterprise? He said, I'm going to go to Mars. I said, what do you mean? I mean, he went on about he plans to retire on Mars and make possible interplanetary travel. I thought he was just kidding with me. And later on, that panel discussion just showed I put him on the spot again, and he was dead serious. I mean, the more I talked to him, the more I realized that Elon doesn't just dream; he makes things happen, and he doesn't say things he doesn't believe. Yes, he's an optimist. This is how all optimists are. I mean, even when I make projections about the future, I've written books and so on, forecasting the future. I'm off by 3, 4, 5 years very often. So Elon is off by 3, 4, 5 years very often, but he really believes what he says. No BS. It's not about money. I mean, a lot of the tech moguls you read about these days, it's all about money, 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 and they have to show off about their money. Elon doesn't. He's not driven by money. He's driven by his dream, his vision to make all of these amazing things happen.
Yeah, tell me a little more about AI in all of this, because, I understand the Washington Post recently reported Musk's ultimate goals here. They said, quote, shrink government, we know that, control data, and then according to one official closely watching the billionaire's Doge, replace the human workforce with machines. Musk recently had this to say when pressed about the impact of AI. Let's listen.
In a benign scenario, probably none of us will have a job. The question will really be one of meaning, of if the computer can do, and the robots can do everything better than you, then does your life have meaning? That's really what will be the question in the benign scenario. And in the negative scenario, well, bets are off. We're in deep trouble.
Is that Post report and these comments about AI concerning at all, given his current very high-profile role within the Trump administration?
Natasha, Elon and I have talked about the future of technology, and in 2015 or 2016, I used to write for the Washington Post. I wrote a series of 5 articles how we're headed to a jobless future, and Mark Andreessen took exception with it. He ripped me apart on Twitter. And Elon wrote to me privately, basically saying, Vivek, completely agree with you. What I had said was that the way technology is advancing, in the next 10, 15 years, AI and robots are going to start taking most human jobs away. Elon and I were 100% in sync on that, because it was obvious to us that this is where we're headed. And it's happening. And Elon now is in the catbird seat. I mean, having funded OpenAI and now doing Grok and his own XAI, he knows a lot more about AI and what it can do than almost anyone does. He has put it together with his vision, and he's dead right about the things he's forecasting. The reality is that soon AI will be able to do most jobs.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.